Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, authorities in Yorktown are looking for this man involved in the morning's Amber Alert.
A DeWitt County suspect accused of shooting a 54-year-old man is facing additional charge, the latest on this October 2023 shooting.
And the Uvalde School District Police Chief officially resigned.
We've got a lot of heat and humidity to deal with as we get into the long holiday weekend. Tonight, we had some big storms in north central Texas. We'll have all that coming up in just a moment.
And we had 3 teams begin their new postseason series. Scores and highlights coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
Calhoun County deputies arrested a 38-year-old suspect. Jeremy Romo faces 3 charges, including evading arrest and manufacture and delivery of a controlled substance. He is in the Calhoun County Jail in lieu of $61,000 bond.
Authorities are looking for the suspect in the Yorktown Amber Alert. Julian Rivera is 24 years old, 5 feet 11 inches tall, 175 pounds. He has brown hair and black eyes. The suspect is driving a black 2007 Chevrolet Tahoe. Texas license plate number that reads FVK0342. The suspect was last seen in San Antonio. If you have any information, call the DeWitt County Sheriff's Office at 361-275-5734.
A 6th charge was added against a suspect arrested by DeWitt County deputies last October. Authorities say 36-year-old Cody Eggemeyer of Westhoff shot 54-year-old James Lubienski of Yorktown. Eggemeyer is facing charges from DeWitt County of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and felon in possession of a firearm. He is also charged with theft of a firearm from Goliad County. Eggemeyer is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of $60,000 bond. Families of victims at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde settled a lawsuit with that city.
The 19 families of students and teachers killed in that mass shooting 2 years ago will receive a total of $2 million. Uvalde officials also pledged to institute a new fitness of duty standard for police officers. The families are also suing 92 DPS officers, the school district, and individual employees. Now, as for the $2 million settlement, the city is paying it from its insurance coverage.
Instead of suing the city and jeopardizing the finances of anybody, families have accepted just simply the insurance doesn't affect anybody.
A total of 376 law enforcement officers from across the region rushed to the school to respond, but ultimately none of them breached the door to the classroom to confront the shooter for 77 minutes.
The Uvalde School District's police chief officially submitted his resignation on Tuesday. Joshua Gutierrez's resignation will be presented for approval at a school board meeting on June 17th. No word on why he's stepping down, but the school district already posted the job on its website. Gutierrez was the replacement after the former police chief was fired in August, following criticism of his actions during the Uvalde school massacre.
So here's your Vera Poll tonight. The question is, what is most important to support the families affected by the Uvalde massacre? According to our results, it looks like 90% takes the lead with legal justice and accountability. Thank you for voting tonight.
A Texas petrochemical company pleads guilty to a Clean Air Act violation. TPC Group was fined more than $30 million in criminal fines and civil penalties. This was related to explosions at its facility in Port Neches in November of 2019. The explosions released more than 11 million pounds of extremely hazardous substances. They caused more than $130 million in off-site property damage and other impacts to human health and the environment. Let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. I got the word tonight, the Salvation Army of Victoria. They are opening their cooling station when the temperature at 1302 North Lewis Street hits 95 degrees or the heat index hits 100 degrees. And Mac, those two numbers were hit today?
Yes, it's just the beginning of the heat wave I promised you. Our heat index today was at 105, and it's only going to get a little bit higher. We've got some hot, steamy weather all the way through. In fact, our holiday weekend is going to be very hot. Tonight, the big activity, the stormy weather, was up in central Texas. It's already in East Texas, and we'll talk about that up a little bit later on. And we'll take a look at your 7-day forecast. All that in a moment.
Mac, thank you. In Lavaca County, 2 candidates are running for Lavaca County Sheriff, incumbent Sheriff Michael Harmon and Stephen Greenwell. Harmon spent more than 44 years in the public service, serving as the Justice of Peace, first before he was elected to Lavaca County Sheriff in 2004. Harmon wants to address the cartel issues in Lavaca County and address increasing school safety for Lavaca County schools. Greenwell has more than 25 years of law enforcement experience, and his main focus is border-related crimes and issues in Lavaca County.
Early voting in Victoria for the May 28th runoff election continued Wednesday. The numbers from the Victoria County Election Administrator look like this. 744 people voted in person early Wednesday. 2,171 early in-person votes so far, averaging over 700 early votes in person per day. 1 mail-in vote was received Wednesday, 739 mail-in votes so far. Early voting continues through Friday. Early voting is at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. Early voting hours are Thursday and Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. On May 15th, Memorial Medical Center hosted 3 specialists to educate the public on women's health in Calhoun County for Women's Health Month. And Calhoun County, along with Pharmosa Plastics Corporation, broke ground on May 6th for a future recycling center where they plan to expand it. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. Bloomington High School will honor Kevin Garza during their graduation commencement Friday. Garza was supposed to walk the stage with the class of 2024. However, his life was taken from him back in 2016. The 11-year-old was making his way to school when a vehicle struck him. His mother will walk the stage and accept what should have been his diploma during the commencement.
The Victoria Regional Airport will host a training exercise Thursday. It's in coordination with local law enforcement and first responders. The exercise will test these local agencies' ability to respond to a public safety emergency at Victoria Regional Airport. Residents should not be alarmed if they see public safety personnel responding to this simulated emergency. Victoria ISD Superintendent Dr. Quentin Shepard's final day is this Saturday, May 25th. Last month, the Victoria Independent School District Board of Trustees accepted Shepard's resignation and appointed Deputy Superintendent Randy Meyer as interim superintendent. Meyer does not plan to pursue the permanent superintendent position. When a new superintendent is selected, Meyer says he will resume his prior duties.
Shepard's most recent contract would have expired June 30th, 2026. The district will pay Shepard for his 40 unused vacation days. On April 29th, Pflugerville ISD's Board of Trustees approved Shepard as the district's new superintendent. Shepard will start his new superintendent role on Tuesday, May 28th.
In honor of National Peace Officers Memorial Day and National Police Week, one family is honoring a fallen officer. Deputy Sheriff David Castillo passed away in a car collision that hit a tree while responding to a mandatory officer assistance call. Tomorrow, his family will honor him at San Antonio at the courthouse downtown. And this Saturday, his family will hold a family reunion at the Victoria Art League at 4 p.m. David was a former Strowman Raider high school football player. NASA has ordered yet another delay for Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. The launch was put on hold Tuesday night to give managers more time to evaluate a small helium leak in the ship's propulsion system. The leak was first detected during a launch attempt on May 6th. NASA has not announced when the analysis might be complete or when another launch attempt might be made. The Starliner's inaugural voyage will carry 2 astronauts to the International Space Station for a 10-day mission.
TxDOT says it cannot guarantee that upgrades to one of Houston's main hurricane evacuation routes will prevent future flooding of U.S. Highway 59. You can read this Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today
On YouTube.
On YouTube, thank you. A Memphis judge has blocked a foreclosure sale on Graceland. That's coming up on 25 News Now at 10.
Also ahead, the unofficial start of summer begins next Monday, and AAA is expecting a big number of travelers.
Return to sender. A judge has stopped the auction of Graceland by a company that claimed Elvis Presley's estate failed to repay a loan that used the property as collateral. A temporary injunction was issued against the proposed auction during a hearing Wednesday. The company later said it would drop its claim. The Presley estate argued the claim is fraudulent. A public notice for a foreclosure sale of the estate in Memphis said the trust that controls the Graceland Museum owes $3.8 million after failing to repay a 2018 loan.
For those who like to eat fish, health experts advise to check into the fish you are consuming and swimming near.
According to the USDA, eating seafood is part of a healthy diet. The EPA and FDA encourage states to issue advisories for seafood coming from their local waters based on mercury and other chemicals. But what about per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances known as PFAs for short? These forever chemicals have been found in the water sources where seafood is caught. Researchers at Dartmouth College purchased commonly enjoyed seafood, salmon, tuna, shrimp, lobster, and scallops from a local New Hampshire fish market. When tested for PFAs, the highest concentrations were seen in the shrimp and lobster. The amount of PFAs, or even if there are PFAs in water, can be different depending on location, so researchers are calling for increased public health guidance on safe seafood to eat. Try to be aware of where your seafood is coming from and keep an eye on your local guidance and notifications so you can keep enjoying your fish. With this Medical Minute, I'm Christiane Cordero.
A new study finds that fish oil could increase the risk of developing heart problems. The study looked at more than 415,000 people in the UK over several years. People without a history of heart disease who regularly took fish oil supplements had a 13% higher risk of developing atrial fibrillation and a 5% greater risk of stroke. Meanwhile, those with a history of heart disease who took the supplements had a 15% lower risk of progressing to more severe heart problems. Researchers say further studies are needed to determine why. Next Monday is Memorial Day, the unofficial start of summer. It feels like summer already. And AAA predicts 44 million people will be traveling between tomorrow and Tuesday.
This comes as the Biden administration says it's working to help lower those gas prices.
Ahead of what AAA is calling a record-breaking Memorial Day travel weekend, the Biden administration is releasing 1 million barrels of gasoline. The added barrels are expected to help lower gas prices. Today, on average, a gallon of gas is $3.61, 7 cents more than this time last year. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm says the gas reserve will be strategically released between now and July 4th. AAA predicts more than 38 million people will be driving this holiday weekend, the highest number since tracking began in 2000. That number is up 4% from last year, nearly 2% from 2019.
I think mostly people will travel by car because they have more control of their destiny, for a couple of reasons. It's a long weekend, but it's still a short period of time, Thursday through Monday. And if you have a family, more than just 2 people traveling, if you have a family like of 4 people, it may be more conducive to go by on the road.
According to INRIX, a transportation analytics company, the best times to drive are tomorrow and Friday. Leave early to avoid the morning commute. The worst times to drive are Sunday and Monday. Avoid the afternoon hours. Travel time is 90% longer than usual.
We can also anticipate that in the metro areas, when you're in New York City or DC or Chicago, all these urban areas, when you're closest to the city, you have to contemplate the congestion of traffic being in that area. You've got to allow more time.
AAA is also predicting more than 3.5 million people will fly for the holiday. That is the busiest Memorial Day at the airports in nearly 20 years. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
And AAA Texas says the average gas price of Victoria per gallon in Victoria, $3.02.
Now here's a look at some of the top headlines you can find in the Cuero Record. There's been some transfer policy shifts at Cuero ISD. Teachers there are now set to see a pay increase. Plus, the new principal, Michael Hanham, discusses his passion for working at Yorktown High School. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
And good evening, everybody. We're looking at 81 degrees this afternoon. Our heat index got up to 105. I'm not here to scare you or make you more depressed. I'm just here to tell you that the heat and the humidity are beginning to get serious. Now, this afternoon's high temperature officially was 92. The record is 99, but that 92 is going to get up to 95 and then 96 and then 97. You get the drift? We'll talk about it after this. Well, good evening, everybody. We had, of course, that hot, hazy, humid kind of stuff today, but to the north of us, big storms happened. We're going to be talking about our 7-day coming up in a moment, but we have to talk about all that's happening in basically what's North America. Now, all this red area you can see right here is under all what we're feeling, which is a bit of an early heat wave, but you know, it's not just us. Northern Mexico, southern Mexico, the Caribbean islands are having heat waves. Remember, not only is the pressure high, but the water temperature is already up into the mid 80s, and all of this heat is just part of all this thing moving northward and going to be parking itself over the United States and keeping us, shall we say, on the, I can't say toasty side, we're going to be on the sauna side. That's what we're going to be doing. Yeah. All right. No major problems in the crossroads today, but huge problems began in San Angelo, another derecho. It came across, went through Waco, went through Belton and Killeen, where they got a lot of damage from the wind. And now all that stuff's finally moving into Louisiana with a couple of still heavy thunderstorms over the Waco area right about there. This activity was already, well, it produced 3 tornadoes west of I-35. Tonight it's weakening a little bit, but it's still dropping heavy rain over areas that are already soaking and saturated. The big stuff right now is right here on I-35. I guess that would be Hillsboro. And tomorrow, fortunately, a lot of that stuff's going to be moving a little bit farther to the north. There you see the latest activity, and there is Hillsboro and there is Waco. So it was out here where the stormy weather produced all these reports of hail, and they're the 2 tornadoes. So hail from San Angelo all the way down to Killeen. It went over the Army base there at one point in time. So what about the next couple of days? Well, I just wanted to show you this. Whenever you see a green lightning, that's the time to seek shelter. We see lightning most of the time, but when the lightning it looks green, it means that the light is traveling through more and more, shall we say, water vapor in the air. So you can guarantee when you see this, I've been in it, some hail and possibly a tornado. So green lightning is not good. It's time to seek shelter. All right, we're looking at East Texas, and there's the last hurrah of that thing as it finally moves out. We're looking at 92 tomorrow, a little bit warmer, 98 in San Antonio, 100 out along the river. But these temperatures are going to start climbing. They're going to get warmer as we get into the weekend. There's possibility for some stormy weather. This is today, so we'll just say that one's over with. This is tomorrow, which is northeast Texas, not really as far south as Austin, and we're not included. So look at these temperatures, folks. 92, 94, 95, 98, 99 is the forecast high for Monday. Now that's Memorial Day. I know you always want to have a good time. I want you to have a good time, but with this heat and humidity, you just need to take precautions because you need the hat, the water, the brakes, and not to really do anything very strenuous out in the middle day sun. Like I said, the heat index over the weekend will be at 110. So other than that, have a great weekend, all right? I know some of you are probably leaving early, right? That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Please scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Zach, who's been all over South Central Texas.
Well, today, just Hallettsville, and in fact, you're going to hear from a pair of Brahmas and did Ganado take game 1 in their series. I'll have all that coming up in sports. We had 3 teams open their playoff series tonight, 2 of them taking place in Hallettsville. And we start off with the Lady Brahmas, who had a home playoff game. Brahma Nation packed the stands, and they were loud, proud, and so many people showed up. Some folks chose to sit down the first base line watching as their Lady Brahmas lead 5-1 in the bottom of the 6th and looking for some insurance. And with 2 runners on and 2 outs, Macy Putska lined one over everyone, and to the wall it goes. Carson Jansky scores. The Brahma lead was 6-1, and UTSA commit Kaylee Oliveris took over the circle in the 3rd inning. She was fantastic. She finishes off the game. Hallettsville takes game 1 of the best of 3 against Columbus. Final score 6-1, and star pitcher Kaylee Oliveris says getting that first one out of the way is always big, and she talks about their approach with so many expectations.
We go pitch by pitch, play by play, and out by out. I mean, we don't change our mindset of anything.
Is huge, and I think that helps us going into Saturday. Gives us a little more confidence, but at the same time, we know we got to go take care of business.
They have a chance to win the series on Saturday, but they'll have to do so in Columbus, where they did win earlier this season. Now, across the parking lot, the Ganado Indians find themselves in some trouble, already down 1-0, and a flare behind second drops. And by the time Ganado comes up with it, 2 more runs score in the top of the 3rd. Coach Jason Can trying to rally his troops, and a bunt single in the bottom half gets a man on. Then a slow chopper to second and errant throw has 2 runners on, and then Ganado decides to bunt again, and the ball's misplayed, and suddenly the base is loaded for the Indians. And well, Coach Can loves that. The Indians in good position to strike right back, and the Indians' first run comes on a pass ball, and that Thorndale lead now just 3-1, and the possibility of a double play taken away, but they need some clutch 2-out hitting with runners in scoring position. There it is. Here comes the tying runner to the plate. Ganado responds with a 3-spot of their own, and it's a brand new ball game. The Indians do go on to take game 1. Final score 4-3. Shiner softball also takes its opening game against the Weimar Wildcats. Final score 7-3. A 3-run bottom of the 3rd and a 3-run bottom of the 4th propelled the ladies to victory after trailing 2-1 early on. Football season is here, and teams kicked off their OTAs yesterday at Texans practice. Wide receiver Tank Dell was a full go, and a few hours up the highway, Dallas getting to work as well. Feels like we say this every year, but this is another big season for the Cowboys, who have all the pieces but are coming off a disappointing loss in the wild card round to the Packers. Micah Parsons did not show up to the team's OTAs, but says he does plan on being there next week. He also said that he will report to the Cowboys' mandatory minicamp, which begins June 4th. As for the guys that were there, they're just using this time as an opportunity to integrate the younger players and hopefully hit the ground running when training camp begins. That is it for your sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, Barbie is introducing 9 female athletes to their collection.
Tortoises, start your engines. The Indianapolis Zoo hosted its 45th annual Zoopolis 500 today. The zoo calls it the greatest spectacle in tortoise racing, and it took place just days before this weekend's Indy 500. The 4 radiated tortoises were temporarily named after some of the drivers in Sunday's big race. Helio ended up taking the checkered flag and was rewarded with some fresh fruit. What, no milk? Apple Music has released its list of the top 100 best albums. Here's some in their top 10. Sitting number 1 is Lauryn Hill's 1998 album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Coming in at number 2 is Michael Jackson's classic Thriller. And coming in third is the Beatles' 1969 Abbey Road on Apple Records, not to be confused with Apple Music. They got that confused in court. Anyway, the rest of the top 10 revealed today include albums by Prince and the Revolution, Frank Ocean, Stevie Wonder, Kendrick Lamar, oh, don't tell Drake, Amy Winehouse, Nirvana, and Beyonce. And the Beyonce album that made it to the top 10 was something that we might be drinking in the next few days because of the heat.
Lemonade.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Yes,
I was going to say beer.
I knew that. Beer. There you go. That's what
Yeah.
We'll go for lemonade.
Got to cool down somehow.
Yeah, I need some
On the
lemonade the
weekends
next
for
few
sure.
days.
We will definitely be needing something to cool us down because the heat is on, and it's only going to be getting a little bit worse. As a matter of fact, again, the temperature rises up to about 99 on Monday, yes, and the heat index is at 110. So take it easy, have a great time, just try and stay cool.
Alrighty, thank you, Mac. And Barbie is entering her sports era. Mattel announced it will be honoring 9 of the biggest athletes around the world with role model dolls made in their likeness. One of the athletes now immortalized is tennis icon Venus Williams. Some other athletes honored include Canadian soccer player Christine Sinclair and Mexican gymnast Alexa Moreno.
They want to go international because if you think about gymnastics, you think about Simone Biles, or if you want to add tennis, how about Venus's little sister Serena? I mean, that would be great
that's a big one
Barbies
too,
as well, you know, but I guess that's their doll, they can play
Their
with
call?
it.
All right. Alrighty, well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Joining Carolina Astroine, meteorologist Parker Cox. 25 News Now, sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.